Hi all, welcome to Unit 12 Review Circles Part 1. Please print the review. If you do not have access to the printer, copy all the notes on a separate sheet of paper. Okay, let's get started with number 1. Given triangle CED circumscribed about circle A, CB is 10. So let's highlight CB, right? That's my CB, and the length of CB is 10. I know that CB and CF are what? Tangents from an outside point. So these are going to be what congruent. So I already know this is 10. I didn't even read too much of the question, but you should be able to make those analogies, right? It also says EF is 8. So my EF, which happens to be this, is 8. So if this is 8, what can I say? EG is also going to be 8, right? Because again, E is an exterior point and EF and EG are tangents to the circle. So they are congruent, right? I want to find ED. I want to find this length ED. So let's do this. I want to find this, right? That's my question mark. So how do I find GD? So I already know that the two angles in this triangle are 70 and 40, which is 110. And to find the third angle, all I need to do is subtract it from 180, so I get 70. So I know this angle is 70, making it an what? Isosceles triangle. If your base angles are congruent, sides opposite, this side is opposite, side CE is opposite to angle G, and ED is opposite to C. So these are the two sides that are going to be congruent. So I'm going to highlight it. So this side is congruent to this side. So I know the length of this side is what? 18. So this side is also going to be 18. So length of ED is equal to 18. And what's the reasoning? Base angles in an isosceles triangle are congruent. Therefore, the sides opposite to them are congruent. Okay, so let's get started with number 2. It says determine the value of x in the circle. Okay, it's an interior angle. What do we know about this? The interior angle is equal to arc 1 plus arc 2 over 2. Plus, remember, the inside angle, it makes an x, so that should remind you that this is an interior angle. Look at these. These are two chords, angle formed by two chords. This is the angle, right? So now all you have to do is substitute in. Your angle is x. Arc 1 is what? 70. It doesn't matter which order you put them in. Plus 100 over 2, which is 170 over 2, which is 85 degrees. Okay, so let's get started with the third one. We already talked about the same property in one. We know these two are tangents to the circle, right? CB and CD are tangents, so they are going to be congruent, right? Just looking at the picture, you should be able to tell. It says determine the value of x in the circle. Okay, you know the whole circle around is what? 360 degrees. This whole circle around is going to be 360 degree, right? I know a portion of it is what? This is 140. So what would be the remaining? The remaining would be what? 360 minus 140 is how much? 240. Oh no, 220. Sorry, my bad. 220, right? So this is 220 degrees. Now I want to find this angle. Remember, if I compare it to 2 and 3, in number 2, the angle was on the inside, so we did arc 1 plus arc 2. Here the angle is on the outside, so we're going to write the angle is equal to arc 1. So it's going to be the bigger arc minus the smaller arc. Arc 2 over 2. So what is my bigger arc? So x is equal to 220 minus 140 over 2. So x is equal to 220 minus 140 is 80 over 2. X is equal to 40 degrees. And that's it. So let's get started. In the circle, CF is 7, FP is 6, and DF is 3. Determine the length of ED. Always go back to your questions and read what is it asking. It's asking me this whole length ED. This is what I need to find, right? Okay, so what do I know? DF is 3. Let's fill that in. DF is 3. Okay, these are two chords, right? CB and DF, and this is the formula for it. Part times part equals part times part, or sometimes we also call it piece times piece equals the other piece times the other piece of the chord. So when I say part times part, I'm talking about this is one part and this is the other part. So I'm going to say 7 times 6 is equal to the other chord is 3 times, I don't know FE, so if I don't know something, let's call it X. And now it's simple solving. 7 times 6 is 42 equals 3x divided by 3. I get x is equal to 14. But that's not answering my question. X was only FE. I want to know DE. So segment DE is equal to 3 plus 14, which is 17 units. For number 5, we have to draw the picture. I already drew the picture, and let's read what's saying. In circle O secants, remember secants intersect the circle at 2 points. ADB and AEC are drawn from an external point A such that point D, B, E, and C are on the circle O. So D, B, and C, E are on the circle. The lengths of AD and AE are given to us, and I wanted to interpret this with you. It says EC is 12 more than BD. Anytime you're given a word problem like this, always start from the back. So let's say BD is what? Let's call BDX. More than means what operation? Plus 12. So EC is going to be 12 plus X. So I know my EC is gonna be X plus 12 or 12 plus X. I can call it anything, right? So EC is that. I know BD, I already called it to be X. Now what is the rule when it is with the secant? It's outside times whole. So when I say outside, I'm talking about 80. So let's substitute in. Outside is 8. 8 times whole. What's my whole? My whole is, this will be how much? 8 plus X, right? So I'm going to write that 8 plus X is equal to outside. What is my outside? 6 times, what is my whole? This whole thing is going to be, what is X plus 6 plus 12, which is X plus 18. It is X plus 18, right? And now all you need to do is solve it. It is 64 plus you're distributing it. 8x equals 6x plus 108, right? Put the x's on one side, subtract 6x, subtract 6x, subtract 64 also. This cancels out, this cancels out. I'm left with 2x is equal to 44, right? Divide by 2, and x is equal to 22. So my x is 22, and is that what I'm looking for? I want to find BD. Yes, BD is x. So in the end, rewrite it. Segment BD is 22. Always go back to your question. It says measure of angle CBA is 20 and measure of angle DBA is 27. Determine the measure of COD. I want to find this whole thing. X, right? Okay, what's the relationship between the angle, inscribed angle? I'm just going to do a different color so that we see it. What's the relationship between this angle and this, right? we know that the central angle is double the inscribed angle. So this would be what? 40, right? If this is 27, this is going to be double of 27, which is 54, right? So my x is going to be 40 plus 54, which is 94 degrees. Okay, so let's go to the next one. It says determine the arc measure of arc ED of circle A. So we want to find ED. That's what our goal is, ED. I want to find this, right? And it also says BC is parallel to ED. It's already marked up, an angle BDE is equal to 65. I know this is 65, right? So what do I know about the arc that it intercepts? What do I know about this arc? It is going to be double, so it's what? 130. Very good, right? I already know, I'm going to highlight this in yellow. I know this is what? A semicircle. We know a semicircle is how much? This whole thing is how much? From here to here is 180 degrees, right? So this would be what? 180 minus 130, which is 50 degrees. So ED, arc ED is 50 degrees, right?